All right. Wow. I tell you what, time really flies when you got a bucket of crap to take care of. And yeah, I've just been running the wire here, trying to get everything ready before the holidays come and all of that madness takes over. But hope you guys are doing great. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Brent Thomas, and this is the Paranormal Portal. So if you were expecting a different show, you might not be in the right channel. This is the one that's happening here, the Paranormal Portal. And I got a lot of cool things going on. I got a wonderful package from our wonderful Miss Deb Varner, who sent me a package. She sent me all kinds of cool stuff. Just really neat. In fact, the shot glasses that are up on the display back here on the bookshelf, I don't know if you can see them, but there's a few of them. There's 3 of them, but this one's from Salem, Massachusetts. And of course, our wonderful Deb was there, and she got me a shot glass. That'll be good for my screwball when I get another bottle. Sit here hitting the shots. Bartender, give me another. I'm not done yet. Hit me. I don't know. It's cool, though. Very, very cool stuff. Thank you, Miss Deb. She also sent me a wonderful bunch of crystals and a really beautiful pendulum. So sweet of her. Let me show you this pendulum. It's just really, really cool. It's almost too pretty to even use. I don't know. I guess you could still use it, but here's the pendulum. I don't know if I can get it close enough that you guys can really see it or if it'll even focus right. But it's this beautiful pendulum. Just gorgeous. Thank you so much, Miss Deb. I think it's beautiful, and it'll definitely be a wonderful addition to my collection of wonderful stuff. And then a series of really cool stones. I'm not going to try to show them just because I don't have the lighting and the camera angle to display, but just beautiful stuff. Thank you, Deb. That was wonderful. And then I got a Christmas card from Taz. That was really nice. Thank you for that. She says, Brent and family, happy holidays, wonderful new year, and all the best. Your friends, Tanya and family, Taz. It says, Merry Christmas and warm wishes for a happy new year. That's wonderful. Thank you, Taz. I appreciate that. So that was my arrivals as of today. So thank you so much, everybody, of course, that thinks of me in whatever way you think of me. I really appreciate it. Ooh, Chucky, we got to do the question of the week tonight, don't we? Yeah, it's Saturday. It's like all these days are just bleeding together for me. It's crazy. I don't know what's wrong with my head anymore, but I think it's just overoccupied with things to handle and doing my best. But anyway, just as a notice right out of the gate, and I don't know what's going on. I can't even remember which show I was on. I don't think it was this show. I think it was when I was making an appearance on perhaps Rob's show on, what day was that? Tuesday? Or I don't know, another show maybe. I think it was Rob's show, but somebody in the chat said, hey, I'm really looking forward to getting together on the 15th. And I was like, oh, great. Yeah, me too. I just responded in the chat and I was like, I didn't recall. And then I look at my calendar and I got nothing down for the 15th. So if you are out there listening, please email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com because clearly I'm missing something. Brent, it was on Spooky Japan show. What was it? That's where that happened, Grandizer? I couldn't remember. I didn't think so. I didn't think it was on Spooky Japan show. I thought it was on Bigfoot Michigan's Rob's. But yeah, I was on Spooky Japan show recently. That was the show out of Japan. Wonderful people, a couple of wonderful people. They had we had a great discussion about a lot of strangeness and a lot of Japanese culture and their views towards the paranormal, which I found absolutely fascinating. So I really enjoyed myself over there in Spooky Japan. Brent, I said you should come on my show on December 15th. Yes, but as you know, I don't have a show. Oh, so that was you? Okay. God, I didn't remember who said it or even what was said. All right, well, that's a huge load off of my mind because I really try to be diligent about marking things on my calendar because it's like my lifeline. It keeps all of my life in sync. I sent you a message on Discord a few days ago. You know, I haven't even been on Discord for a while. I've just been swamped, but we're going to pull up Discord tonight. I'll take a look as I open it tonight. If it's something I can read quickly or whatever, but I apologize. The best way to get a hold of me if you really want to get my attention in short order is email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com or message me directly on Facebook if you have it. That's the best, the most timely way to get a hold of me. I love our Discord community and I love going over there and checking on things, but honest to God, there's days where I don't get over there. So, okay. No, it's good. Okay. But I just want to say, welcome to all of you to the show. Thank God, Grandizer, if that was what it was, it just came to me. And I think it came to me again last night after the show. I was kind of thinking, oh wait, somebody said something about the 15th. And I looked at my calendar and I said, I got nothing on there. So I just went into panic mode because I hate when I drop the ball. Like it really means a lot to me to be, to honor my commitments and honor my agreements and to take care of those things. So when it just dawned on me like, oh yeah, somebody said that. And then I went and looked at the calendar. I really literally go into a panic. It's like, oh no, I'm missing something. I went through my email to see if it was something that was emailed or that I missed a schedule. So thank God it was you, Grandizer. That's a huge relief because I have done that in the past. I had agreed to do interviews before I was using the calendar. I just had these notepads and little notes everywhere. And then there would be some that would fall through the cracks and I felt horrible. So anyway, enough of that. Great. That's the mystery solved. That's a relief. But what else was I going to say? I was going to say something else, and now I don't remember what that was. Yeah, that's my head right now. I just got a lot of things. If you're no-show, Brent, I'm not offended. Yeah, well, since you don't have a show, I guess I'm going to be in no-show, but if you did have a show, I'd be honored to be on it. That's for sure. I love being on other people's shows and talking about this stuff, so. All right. So, we got a lot of a show tonight. We're going to obviously get to the question of the week, Discord question of the week. That'll be after the news, which is coming right up in a moment here. We're going to dive into a few articles and then we'll head to the Discord question of the week, cover that because we didn't do it last week because last week on Saturday night, a week ago right now, I was good, just about to pack up the car and head out so, to the investigation. Brent, you are an amazing human. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Tina. I appreciate that. I don't know what I did to warrant that, but I sure appreciate it. Thank you. You're pretty awesome yourself. Thanks though. I appreciate that. So, and then we'll get to some odds and ends, maybe an article of, from Thought Catalog. I'm thinking again, you guys are always a part of the conversation. So if you have something you want to say or something question that you want to bring up or a topic you'd like to discuss, feel free, put it all in capitals here in the chat. And, yeah, we'll definitely do it. Brent, you showed you're human with your panic. Well, I'm definitely human. I'm all kinds of human. I'm certainly, I've certainly got a lot of things I need to improve on in my life, and it's something I'm always working on as best I can. But yeah, I appreciate that. That's nice. I'm glad you guys felt that was a good thing. I just was honestly just panicked because I hate letting anybody down. I really do. It's like a personal thing for me. Like if I tell somebody I'm going to do something, I will move hell or high water to do it, just to honor my word. It means a lot to me. So, yeah, but I'm so glad I'm so glad it was just a comment like that. Thank God, Grandizer. Thank you. All right. Hello to all the showing up the hit button and change top to live chat. There you go. Absolutely. So we're going to get to the news. Brent and AI Brent, like in the TV sci-fi Andromeda with Romy. I've never seen the TV sci-fi Andromeda. Was that a good show? Never saw it, Grandizer. But I do want to say, here's how to get Brent's attention. Yeah, I like turtles. That's exactly how to do it. It does jump out for the page a lot more. Like, it definitely means, it says to me, hey, Brent. Hey, Bill Simone, how you doing? Bill and I just recorded another appearance of Mr. Simone on the Paranormal Portal podcast, and that'll be airing probably in a couple weeks. Might be Christmas week, as it turns out. Yeah. And our very own Barbara Mora recorded an episode with me, too, which is wonderful. We had a great talk, Barbara and I, and as did Bill and I. So we'll be looking forward to getting those out to you guys. Again, if you aren't already, please follow the Paranormal Portal podcast, which is not this show. This is the live show. This is a variety show, a fun show where we just kick back and talk all kinds of weirdness and have a good time doing it. But anyway, let's get to the news. I guess it's time to news you guys up. Hopefully I'll tell you something you didn't know, or maybe some things you like knowing, or maybe some things you don't want to know. But anyway, that's the news. We cover it all here. Yeah, Barbara's episode was a lot of fun. Barbara's a wonderful soul, and she's a really cool person in person, as well as through the shows and stuff. I've had the pleasure of meeting Barbara at several conferences, and she's just such a sweetheart. It's just been really cool to cross paths. So I don't see anybody over in Rumble, but I got Chucky Danger here. Barbara Mora is here. Bob Wah. You're not Bob Walters. We got Elaine Clifford, Bill Simone, Grandizer's here. I'm just going up through the list. Sinfully Wicked, of course. John Temperin is here. Annie Manul is here. I'm just doing that on an eyeball here. Phil Funk is in the room. How you doing? Good to see you all. SoCal Squatcher's in here. Good to see you. Artemis Rivers. Awesome to see you guys. Thank you. Jem Gwyn's in here. I like turtle cheesecake, she says. I don't like nuts on that. Didn't even sound right. I just don't, I don't like nuts in like ice cream or, other than Snickers. I can deal with it in Snickers, but the turtle thing is just like a nut with some syrup on it and chocolate. It's like, sorry, no offense. If you love turtles, more power to you. I'm just editorializing here. Freaky Geek is here. Good to see you. Rachel gets it right, of course. She's here. Rachel's always with us. What if we had an attendant? If we had an attendance like sheet, I think Rachel would have the record. Rachel is just every show. She's always here. So wonderful to have you here as always, Miss Rachel. Freaky Geek, I said hi to already. Deb Varner, my wonderful Deb. Thank you again for those wonderful gifts. That was just really cool. And they were packed with love, ladies and gentlemen. You could feel the love come off of those things when I opened the box. It's like, oh, that's so sweet. All right, so who else is here? John Temperin, Grandizer said hello. I'm just looking for other names that I might have missed as I scroll up wildly quickly as I can. Barbara Mora, of course, is here. And it keeps like popping up and down. It's kind of being a pain. Let's see, Phil Funk, I said hello to you, I think. Freaky Geek, I said hello to you. I'm just scrolling up quick. I don't know who was first through the door tonight. I didn't really see. Let me look. I got to go over to this one because actually you guys were chatting before I even launched my production software. So it looks like, I don't know, Kitty Cattywack might have been the first because I see Annie Manul came in and said, hi, Kitty. So I might have missed that already, but at any rate, yeah. What? Dakota Elsit. That's a new name to me, but Dakota's a member, brand new member. So thank you, Dakota. I appreciate it. That's wonderful to have you on board. I just see that now over on my YouTube back end. I couldn't see that. I don't see member things oftentimes on this chat that you see over on the side here. That's through a Restream where it compiles chat from both Twitch and YouTube and puts it on one interface for us. So again, Hooking Good Creations by Tina is here. And she says lovely things about me, so she's always welcome. That's always good when people think nicely of you. And I think nicely of all of you too. So I think I got most of you guys. Sorry if I've missed you. If you've come in and I haven't said hello, but I'm, oh, Grateful Owl's here. Good. Yeah, I didn't see a note in there. Zanzibar's here. Zanzibar, that's a cool name. I know I've heard of Zanzibar before. I think it's a place, right? Very cool. Yeah, I'm just rolling through this. And yeah, Grateful Owl, good to see you. I'm glad you got your Grateful Owl t-shirt from Etsy, I think it was. Phil was first. I still like turtles. Yeah, okay. Good deal. Thank you, Rachel. David Zeismer's in here. Paranormal Paul popped in. Good to see you, brother. And Paranormal Paul, of course, is another host of his own show and podcast, which is a wonderful time. I've been on there a few times and had a great time talking with Paul. Paul's a good man. I like him. I've come to know and love Paul now. And thanks for being here, Paul. Appreciate it. And Bogart's up in the house. Good to see you, Bogart. Hello to you. Welcome to the show. It was from Temu. I thought it was from Etsy. I don't know. I don't know. I thought you said Temu. Or I thought you said Etsy. Sorry. Let's look, see if anybody else popped in. Oh, Chad Votog. Good to see you, Chad. Thanks for coming in. Did I miss one there? No, I got all those. Okay. I think that's about it. Okay. Very good. I guess we're all set to go. And, let's get to the news and see what you guys think. Welcome to the show, though, Bogart. That's a new name. It's nice to see new names pop up, as was Dakota Illicit. Maybe that's illicit, like a different spelling. That's very cool, though. Nice to see new names pop up. Okay, well, without further ado, let's get to the news and find out just what I've pulled up for you. It might be good. I'm just saying, it might be. So we can at least be hopeful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the news. Poncho Zorch. I don't think I know that name. Poncho Zorch. Okay, welcome, Poncho Zorch. That's another new name, I think. I don't think I remember your name. If you've been in here before, my apologies, but thanks for being here. Ron the Sage rolled in. Good to see you, Ron. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Paranormal Portal news desk. Yeah, this is where we cover all the weird and wonderful news of the Paranormal Portal, which sometimes is actually paranormal, sometimes it's just weird and odd and bizarre, and sometimes it's technical and new developments kind of stuff, but hopefully always it's interesting. Poncho was just on my show. He has an awesome Dogman encounter. Well, Poncho, you should definitely have a talk with me. I'd love to talk to you about your Dogman encounter, huh? Yeah, Paul, you were just live a little bit ago, right? Weren't you live today? I don't know. I can't. You guys have got schedules all over the place on in whether it's Tex or Rob or you and the Blondes and the Booze and our paranormal world with Monica. It's like everybody's. Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, I thought you were just live. I'm sorry I didn't watch it. I was panic preparing for tonight's show. Tex's front porch. Are you kidding me? Outstanding, Tex. What are you doing? You could have been the co-host with me tonight if you're available. You should have let me know. I'm sorry. Ah, very cool. Very cool. I don't know. I'm just saying. You guys, I would love to have Rob come on and co-host like Paul did the other night. A few weeks ago, Paul was on here. Maybe it's longer than a few weeks ago. It feels like everything's a blur right now, but I'd love to have Tex come on too and co-host with me. Brent, they are roping your show into the mix of shows to be at. Well, God bless you. Everybody hit the thumbs up. Okay, this is the news. God bless you, Tex and Paul and all of that family of fun, wonderful people. I love being in that mix with them. They're a bunch of great people, great shows, great conversations. So please check out all these shows, ladies and gentlemen. I've just expanded my family quite a bit here. It is a raid, isn't it? Kinda. Paranormal Portal have Charles co-host. Oh, Charles, my friend, co-investigator, Charles. Yeah, that's always a possibility. Jimmy Touchdown came in. Yep, Poncho is an old hoe from way back. Been blowing pipe for years. Dude, that's a pretty aggressive statement right there. I don't know. There might be fighting words. I'm just saying. The island of misfit toys and misfit boys as well. All right. Let's get to the news. Always throughout the course of the show, we utilize a lot of different sites, and I just ask that you guys do what you can to support these sites. These sites are so well done, and they do need your love. Every site needs your love and your traffic. So if you like what we cover on the shows here, please check them out. These shows are incredibly well done, or these sites are incredibly well done, and they're well kept, and these people are working hard. And I'm talking about SasquatchChronicles.com, the blog over there as well, incredibly well done. PhantomsandMonsters.com, Lon Stricker's site, awesome site, along with his podcast as well. And then, of course, Unexplained-Mysteries and other sites that we end up using. So please support them. Please give them your love, because your traffic does equal revenue. To help keep the lights on, we want these sites to keep running and succeeding and doing well. So the first article is coming from an amazing site that we use, unexplained-mysteries.com. And this is from the space and astronomy section of unexplained-mysteries.com. And the article is, let me turn off this because we don't need that anymore. Nobody's co-hosting. I don't need them on camera. So let's go. The building of a base on Mars may happen sooner than you think. Raise your hand if you're going to volunteer for that mission. Not me. I don't think you ever want to be the first. Like, hey, we're going to try to put somebody on the moon. You want to try it? Nope. No, I'll wait till it's been done a lot. And because the first people are always the cautionary tales. So God bless them for wanting to be the people to do it, and God bless their spirit and their adventurous souls. But man, if something goes wrong there, you're on your own. I mean, there's nothing. Nobody's going to show up, and there's no 911 up there. That's it. You're done. If something goes sideways, you are just a statistic at that point. But anyway, let's check it out. The red planet is a long way from the Earth. Thank God they pointed that out. I didn't know. But the challenges are not insurmountable. This is probably going to be a big one. God, yeah, it's a big one. Well, we'll read a little bit of it, and I'll put the link in the chat if you guys want to read more. This is Sam McKee says, could humans expand out beyond their homeworld and establish settlements on planet Mars? Well, the idea of settling the red planet has been around for decades. However, it has been seen by skeptics as a delusion at best and mere bluster at worst. Mars might seem superficially similar to Earth in a number of ways, except it doesn't have much of an atmosphere. Hey, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, popping in the door. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming in. Where was it? Okay, but its atmosphere is thin, and humans would need to live within pressurized habitats on the surface. Actually, for as social as I am, that might work out just fine, because I don't go out unless I have to, which is probably a character defect of some kind, but I'm usually good just being here. All right, yet in the era where space tourism has become possible, the red planet has emerged as a dreamland for rich eccentrics and techno-utopians. What the hell's a techno-utopian? As is often the case with science communication, there's a gulf between how close we are to this ultimate goal and where the general public understands it to be. I don't understand that statement necessarily. However, I believe there's a rationale for settling Mars, and that this objective is not as far off as some would believe. There are actually a few good reasons to be optimistic about humanity's future on the red planet. First, Mars is reachable. Yeah, that's why they're driving remote control cars all over it. During an optimal alignment between Earth and Mars, as the two planets orbit the sun, it's possible to travel there in a spacecraft in 6 to 8 months. Wow. I can't imagine sitting in a can for 6 to 8 months, though. I mean, I don't like going very many places, but I wouldn't want to be sitting in a can shooting through space for 6 or 8 months of my life. It's possible to travel there in a spacecraft in 6 to 8 months. Some very interesting new engine designs suggest it could be done in 2 months. But based on technology that's ready to go, it would take astronauts 6 months to travel to Mars and 6 months back to Earth. Astronauts have already stayed for this long on the International Space Station and on the Soviet orbiting lab Mir. We can get there safely, and we have already shown that we can reliably land robots on the surface. There's no technical reason why we couldn't do the same with humans. Second, Mars is abundant with raw materials required for humans to live off the land. In other words, achieve a level of self-sufficiency. The red planet has plentiful carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, and oxygen. Really? Oxygen? I'm surprised. Which can be separated and isolated using processes developed on Earth. Mars is interesting and useful in a multitude of ways that the moon isn't. And we have technology on Earth to enable us to stay and settle Mars by making use of its materials. I just wonder how long it's going to take for them to start digging and finding things like gold and stuff. And then suddenly there's going to be like resorts on Mars. And, because there'll be enough money, or gems or something, other raw materials or rare earth metals or whatever. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you want to be the ones to go to Mars? I think Elon Musk even said, well, the first people that go there probably won't ever be coming back. It's like, yeah, I'm probably sure that's the case. But I'm going to put the link for this into the chats if you guys want to read more of this person's thoughts on possibly colonizing Mars. Well, there you go. All right, paste, good. I don't know why that isn't. I mean, there's like no chat on there. I don't know why. I'm just gonna see what's going on. I don't see any Rumble chat at all, like nothing at all, which is very unusual. Looks like 3 people are watching it according to my metrics here, but anyway, maybe it's because I didn't actually have the feed rolling. I just have the chat of Rumble out. So sorry to turn the discussion on the side there, but it's just things I got to keep an eye on. I'm going to miss that bus going to Mars. Yeah, I think I'm going to miss that one too, but Bill. And I'm sure I probably wouldn't make the cut even on the best of my days. Jim Gwynn says, and I'm leaving the kids home. That'd be way too many are we there yets for me to stay sane. Yeah, you'd probably be stapling kids to the fuselage and just going for it. And yeah, put in a feeding tube and change their diapers once in a while. There's Into is in here. Into, that's a new name. Welcome to the show, Into. Home might refresh. Yeah, maybe it's just got to be refreshed. There it is. Yeah, Barbara's chatting. Okay, it's working. Okay. All right, I just want to make sure. Maybe there's just nobody chatting over there, which is fine. I mean, Rumble's a really a newer endeavor for me on this show to expand the presence of the Paranormal Portal, but we just hit over 200 followers, which I guess, it's pretty good. Not bad. Not like we're tearing up the place.
Pool.
What did that say? Pool? Pool? There's a pool there. Yeah. I mean, we could do that, Tex. It's probably going to lag the hell out of my computer. My computer's been suffering lately with a lot of latency, but let me see if I can do that. We can try. Ladies and gentlemen, just stand by. Just a moment, if you would, please. No, that's not what I wanted. What the hell did I do? Trying to do this on the fly. With StreamYard, it's real easy to add people, but for this, to actually add a person utilizing Zoom, it's a little less forgiving. But I can do it. I'll give it a shot here, Tex. See if we can get you on with us. That'd be fun. It'd be fun to have an impromptu guest host with me. All right, let's do that. That should be in the right position. Tex, you're going to be using Zoom. I hope you know what Zoom is. Hope you use Zoom. I think you do, right? I think you've used it when we've interviewed anyway. So let me do this. Copy invite link. All right. I think I'll try to email this to you. Just a sec, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to try this and see if it works. It may work. Let's see. There he is. Oh, that helps when you send me an email says I'm available. Then I can just reply to it with the link. All right. The link is sent off to you, sir. And if you want to join me, you are welcome to join me, Mr. Tex. Excellent. Hooking Good Creations by Tina says, love Tex. We do love Tex. Tex has been a good friend for a long time, and it's been a lot of fun collaborating with him on his show and along with him and Rob on Rob's show. I've had a lot of fun talking with all of you guys. Where's Sheldon at? Sheldon usually comes on Friday, but since I had Nacy on last night, I said, Sheldon, you can take the night off, just because with the connection issues, hosting more than one guest right now, I think would probably just be lag hell for my show. I don't know if something's going on with my computer. It's just getting old. So we'll see if Tex is able to join us. Perhaps he will. Perhaps he'll be able to. All right, so that's the first article, and it was a Lulu. Going to Mars, ladies and gentlemen. God bless the spirit of adventure. I see something happening there. Are you there, sir? I see you. Oh, it might be lag spiking on us. Just give it a sec, and Mr. Tex will probably be talking to us in mere moments as we wait. I see his face. I see the face of Mr. Tex. And you can see the face too. And that'll help me position the cam a little better. There we go. Look at that. Look at that handsome man. He's just got to get his volume figured out. There should be a picture of a microphone at the bottom there, Tex. Maybe you have to click the little arrow next to it and pick the right microphone. Sometimes it tries to grab webcams or embedded one. Brent has become a staple special co-host. Yeah,
I think we're good.
I think we're good too. I hear you just fine. Yeah, Rob, I've really enjoyed it. Welcome, Mr. Tex Weston, to the Paranormal Portal News. What do you think about going to Mars?
I tell you what, some days that's where I'd just soon be.
Get her done, right?
Yeah. I'll put it this way. If I was single and didn't have any family, sign me up, I'm gone, right?
Sure. Yep.
But it would be real hard for me to leave everybody behind.
Yeah.
And possibly not come back. My days of going to combat and all that kind of stuff are over.
Yeah. Yeah. Now for me, combat includes getting off of the couch and hitting the bathroom.
And that ain't no lie.
That's kind of my new level.
Or at least hit the bathroom in time. That's the chore.
Well, there's no guarantees, but at least I'm on the way. So,
right.
So if I don't quite make it, there's not as much cleaning to do because I'm pretty much there. But thanks for coming on with me, man. This is really cool. Well, I'm glad you got the night off. That's perfect.
Glad I got the night off too.
Well, good. Welcome to the portal, sir. You are now a part of the live co-hosting event. So
I'm looking out at my own porthole.
Dick. I always know when your listeners come in. Hey, Dex said I had to come to the porthole. Do it. I'm always like, oh. Anyway. All right. Well,
I am so jealous of that soundbar. So jealous.
Oh, that's no worries. That's no worries at all. Yeah, there might be kind of laggy, folks. Just deal with it as best you can. I'm really been working on this computer to try to get it to be less laggy. I think it might really involve a new hard drive. I think it's slowing down, but I'm doing my best. So I do apologize if it's lag spikes for you guys, but just know that no matter what happens, we'll continue on the journey through the portal, and I'm sure it'll just be it'd just be incremental leg spikes. I'm sure it won't disconnect us. So I'm going to get to the next article. You ready for an article, Tex?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Here we go. And this is coming from the Ghost and Hauntings section of unexplained-mysteries.com. And this article is pretty cool. And actually, my cousin sent me an image of this that he captured as well, which if I have a chance, maybe I'll dig up and put on screen for us to look at. But this is an article that's Hunter claims to have filmed the spirit of a wolf on his trail camera. Those look like deer to me, but I don't even know where this is coming from. Okay. Actually, it's coming from the forests of Newport, Washington. That's literally, Tex, about 40 minutes away from me.
See deer, like you said.
Yeah, let's hope there's more to this image or another image in the series, but let's read it and see what it says. Something strange was recently picked up on a hunting camera set in the forests of Newport, Washington. Does this video footage show evidence of a spirit wolf? Not so far. I guess it's video evidence, so maybe there will be a video. Marco McDewey, a hunter who captured the anomaly on Woodland Trail camera in Newport, Washington, recently certainly seems to think so. The clip starts by showing a number of small deer moving across the bottom right corner of the frame. I guess that's the still that we just saw. And I'm thinking it's a wolf spirit guarding my property, said McDewey. But could this really be evidence of a ghostly wolf, or is there more conventional explanation? One possibility is that the shape is actually the result of some form of camera anomaly. Boy, that's descriptive. Oh, no, it's just a camera anomaly. While another is that it's an insect either flying past or crawling across the surface of the lens. You can check out the footage for yourself below. What do you think? And this is coming from Nonstop Local Everywhere. That has 39 subscribers. So I think this must be the person's. And I haven't pre-watched this, so we're going to be watching it together. Again, I apologize.
Oh, these are always good then.
Yeah, exactly. I apologize for any leg spikes, but let's check it out. Okay, there's the deer. Can you guys see it okay? I got to look. Yeah, it looks like it's there. Was that it? What the hell happened? I looked away and it was over. Let's look at it again.
Okay, I see.
Right over here.
There's a couple of things that move through there. It's going from right to left.
Right. Yeah. From that tree. Did you see anything on this side?
Yeah.
Or does it just, it just starts at this tree and then it's going over? I don't know. That's pretty interesting. What if it was a cloaked squatch? Let's maybe go full frame with this. What do you say, Tex? We'll get a better look at it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do that. Got to wait for my computer to catch up. Wait for it to catch up. It says low.
That is interesting looking.
Yeah, it kind of is. Let's get to this. All right, we're going to replay it now. Oops, I want to try to still frame it here. I'm going to go frame by frame here, Tex. You okay with that?
Yeah. It's your show, dude.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. It's my show. All right. I'm waiting for there it comes. So it's kind of just it kind of just seems to appear right there. Like, you see that little anomaly? I'm going back and forth frame by frame here. You see how that little, I don't know, it looks like a head just suddenly there. But let's go forward another couple frames. Now it's bigger. It does almost seem to be manifesting, doesn't it? But now it started out just a little blurb here, but now it's all the way from here to here. So it does seem like it's actually got some size to it suddenly. Let's keep going. 2 frames, 2 frames, 2 frames. I don't know if it's a wolf necessarily, though. I don't know where they're getting wolf from this, but we'll do it. Oh, it does actually go in front of that tree, not behind it. So I guess it could be a lens anomaly, just something on the lens, but it would have to be far enough away that it would grab the IR light, though, right? I mean, it would have to be far enough away from the camera apparatus to actually reflect that light. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a bug, I guess, but
right.
There's not enough there for me to call it a spirit wolf.
Right. I'm going to play it in real time here after I get back to where it starts. I guess it does kind of start coming out from behind this tree here, if you watch as I go forward. So it does just kind of emerge right from that tree. All right, let's take a look at it in real time here. Boom. I don't know. That doesn't look bug-like, though, does it?
No, not really.
No, it doesn't to me either. What is it, folks? I don't know. But it does seem like it might be a real legit capture. What are you guys thinking out there? Do you think this might be a capture of what might be a ghostly apparition of some creature? Or what are your takes? Anybody in chat, let us know what you think. Would love for you to weigh in on this, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I can turn this back on now too, Tex, because you're here. And I didn't have you on screen, but now I do.
It hurt my feelings now.
Well, it hurts my feelings.
Nobody else's either.
Hey, you're part of the show now, brother. You volunteered, so this is where you are.
Well, I felt like I owed you, you know.
You owed me? Oh, that's nice. I appreciate that. I hope you're here because you know, not only because of a debt. I'm only here because I owed you one.
I'd be here every night if you know that.
I know you would. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Okay. Well, I don't know, folks. What do you guys think? I've seen camera artifacts from game cameras like this. You know what? I'm gonna try to dig up that one if I can. That my cousin sent me, which it's a one frame. It's just a capture. Like he has his in camera mode, but I think it's really pretty solid, and I think it might be under the investigations. Let's see. I've got a whole folder full of lots of stuff. Here we go. Tennessee trail cam images. I got to see which one it was. It might have been one of the first ones. Maybe not. Maybe it was like the 3rd of April, 2022. Let me just see. No, that's just one image. I know it's a nighttime image. Maybe it is here. No, that's not it. He's got a couple of great ones that he sent me. He's got some weird stuff happening on his property in Tennessee. And it's not always like anything else. It's not always happening, but it has happened and really created some pretty bizarre things, including an apparition he caught of a man walking up his driveway, which was very, very bizarre. I don't know where the hell it is.
You know, and a lot of those videos that you see, like, you know, they're caught on security cams, caught on game cameras like that, they look misty like that did. Right.
But the one he took, if I can find it here, it was really pretty spectacular. If I can find it, that's not the one. That's just some orb stuff, which is still pretty cool, but that's not it. I'm just trying to dig it up quick, ladies and gentlemen, because I think it's worth sharing. And I've covered it before on the shows, but it's been a long time. Was it this one? Let me just pull up this and see. No. Oh, that's the apparition of the guy walking up. This is one that he sent me, and I'll show you guys this one too. This is from on his property in Tennessee. Gotta wait for my computer again. I'm asking a lot of my computer right now, ladies and gentlemen, so please understand. But I'm going to bring it over and put it on screen here.
Santa has heard your request, so we'll see how.
I hope Santa answers too, because Daddy needs a new set of wheels here. There's the apparition, and this is, there we go. Let me do this.
That is interesting looking.
This is the daytime shot, and this is the night. And look at all that weird lensing effect. And this could be just a dewdrop on the screen that's creating this, but it could also not be. But that definitely looks like a human figure kind of slumped over. Interestingly enough, in this property that they bought several years ago now, there was an old guy who lived there who did die in the house. And this does look like kind of a hunched over older man figure, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can, and I'd like to know what the guy looked like, because because you can almost make out the hairline on this figure.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It is really crazy. And that's as zoomed in as we can. I mean, I can zoom in more, but it's just going to turn into pixels.
It's just going to pixelate.
But it does give you an idea for the scale too when you look at it. Like, here's the same shot in daytime, And then this is the nighttime shot. And he doesn't know what triggered it during the daytime, but this was like this would be walking up the driveway towards the actual house. And that's kind of creepy, right? But it's a great capture.
Yeah. I mean,
now
it's a lot better than some I've seen. I'll tell you that much.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Let me open up this one next. See what this one was. Again, sorry for the delay. Okay, so this is again the same series. This is just higher up in that series, but again to eventually nighttime before, then the next day or another day. I'm looking at this is March 3rd, 23. This is March 2nd, 23. Okay, so this must have gone backwards, and this was the night before this one happened. So I think is how it works, but I might be wrong. What was the date on this one? This was March 2nd. So the 2nd, and this is at 6:54 a.m. So this is 6:54 a.m. on March. Then this is the next day at 1:19 p.m. in the afternoon. It got triggered by something. Don't know what. And then, of course, the next night where there's absolutely nothing there. Now, I'm going to keep going and try to find the one with the actual wolf or whatever it was in there. These were some other orb shots that he had, I think. Oh, man, it's just popping windows on me, isn't it? Let's do this. Okay, so these are just some weird streaks, which could be insect or something. I don't know. His camera's not supposed to be that sensitive, but maybe it is. This is the next one. And again, more of the streak things going on. And then this is the last one in this series. I'm sorry we're taking so much time with this, but I think these trail cams really can show some pretty incredible stuff. This is some
every once in a while you get lucky.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And this is some weird, looks like a flashlight pointing right at it. But this is obviously there wasn't anybody out there with a flashlight pointing right at his trail cam. This is up behind his house, which is just woods. So shouldn't have been anybody there. I'm going to close a couple of those and continue because I got to find that damn wolf. Where is it?
That's in the fall. Okay.
Yeah. From the leaves and stuff. This is just some misty apparition or a misty something, but you see this orb thing cooking right there, and then latency. Come on, computer, catch up. Then there's there and there. So that was just, this light anomaly was very weird. Could have been some kind of moth, I guess, that just caught the flame or caught the IR boosters or whatever. I'm just going through all these because I don't know why I don't have them better labeled, but I should.
Yeah, I would have to write that one off as bug or something.
Yeah.
The bright flash you were looking at just a second ago. Playing devil's advocate here.
Sure.
That possibly a lightning bug.
Oh, okay. That's true. It could be. That's a good point. Now here's the canine kind of thing that he caught, and he said that he's caught deer running by his trail cam any time in the night, and it's always really crisp, even when they're at a full run. But this looks obviously very, very misty and ethereal, and so I think he really caught something here. Like very,
it's definitely wolf or was canine. I think for sure.
Yes, and the fact that it's like almost translucent, letting like you can see these branches are in front of it, so it's actually behind the branches but before this tree trunk, and it's just shooting through. There is a legend on this area, and it has to do with the name, but they call it a devil. And people were seeing something with red eyes in the night, and then he caught this image. So just a good capture. I think they're not real common. It's just the right place, right time, right circumstances, but it does look like something in a dead run going by. And according to him, the frame rate on this thing is really good. It shouldn't be this blurry or this this fuzzy. And the fact that you can you can almost see through the very edges of it, and it just seems more material in the main body and the beginning of the legs. And this is clearly some kind of tail.
Yeah, and I think it's um, way too thick to be any kind of mist.
Right,
You know?
right. And it's very localized to the shape
Yeah.
of this. It's not like that. I mean, there is some mist here, as you can see, but nothing that would create this much of a solid looking anomaly.
No.
Yeah. So I think this is a great capture. Would you agree, Tex?
Oh yeah, I mean it's if nothing else, it's very very intriguing.
Right, right. I think it's pretty powerful. Of all the captures he sent me, this one still is my favorite, and the apparition of that guy. I think that
Yeah.
he's definitely got something going on there. Again, he said
I
usually
would
it's
think so.
really peaceful. He said that in his house he has stuff happening. Like he's got several firearms. He's been he used to be a firearms dealer and stuff, but he had a bunch of cases in their guest bedroom, which is right across the right abutting next to his bedroom, where he and his wife sleep. And he said every night, one handgun case would get knocked down and hit the floor in the closet in the guest room, which was closed. And the cat couldn't get in there, the dog wouldn't have gotten in there, but repeatedly for most nights, it would just get knocked down and tumble and hit the floor. And he'd go in there, and sure enough, the case would be on the floor again. He'd put it back up. He said, I can't figure out any way. And he was actually featured on a few of my podcast episodes. It's the Haunting in Michigan ones. He's from Michigan, so he was telling his incredible stories, but he seems to elicit activity wherever he goes. He's one of those people.
Well, and we run into that a lot. People
Yes.
are talk about, well, I've lived in haunted houses all my life. Maybe not. It may be, the attachment is to you, not the
Yes.
house that you're living in.
Yes, exactly. Good point. Yep, very, very true. So those are some trail cam images. Since we discussed it from this article, I thought, well, let's pop up some other trail cams. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think that's going to probably wrap up the news, because we do got to get to the question of the week and then get to the cryptids, Dex. We got a lot of things
cool.
to cover in a little bit of time. So let me do this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to conclude the news. All right, let's get back to the rest of the show. Thank you, Barbara. Aw, that's so sweet. Nice round of applause for Barbara for the $10 donation. Thank you. All right, Tex. Now, I've got to open up Discord because we've got to get to the next segment, Tex, and this is called the Discord question of the week. Are you familiar with this, Tex?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get to that now. Ladies and gentlemen, the Discord question of the week is when we have a Discord server, by the way. Rachel, would you mind putting a link in the chat, please, for the Discord community for anybody that wants to join? It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And every week we pose a question to our Discord community, and you can weigh in and tell us your thoughts on it, because throughout the course of the show, you guys always hear my thoughts or the thoughts of our guests if we have them on the show, which isn't common, but we do have them from time to time. And this is your opportunity to weigh in and tell us what you think. And there's no wrong answers. Thank you, Rachel, for putting that on there. God bless you. The link is in the chat if you guys want to join. Otherwise, it's also in the show description. You can check it out there, and I'm putting it over on Rumble as I speak. And so that's it. Let's get to the Discord question of the week, ladies and gentlemen. It's time. All right. It is time for the Discord question of the week, and this is where we look into the possibility of your thoughts. This is our Discord server, which I'm going to put on screen now. And you can see this is Discord. This is I know a lot of people aren't extraordinarily familiar with Discord, but it's not a hard program to learn. And we've created some really cool, there's actually a Discord tutorial right here. After you join, you can just click on this and check it out. And there's some videos to kind of give you a walkthrough of how to use Discord. Once you know how to use it, it's really, really easy. But there's lots of discussion threads, as you can see. You just click on them. If you're into cryptids, head over here and check out all the different links that people have posted about cryptids and other videos and shows and things like that with information about cryptids. If you're into Bigfoot, Bigfoot's here, Dogman's here, ghosts here, UFOs here, extraterrestrial encounters, and many more. So there's lots of discussion threads. Hopefully you're going to find something you're interested in here. But what we're going to be doing right now is the Discord question of the week. And by God, this is it. So we didn't do this last week, so we're going to be going over the question that Chucky did a couple of weeks ago and that you guys have had plenty of time to respond to. So we'll see who took the time. Special thanks to Chucky Danger, our wonderful friend mod, and he's a podcast host on his own right. In fact, Tex, you should probably have Chucky on and talk some Bigfoot with him. He's a great guy and very knowledgeable, really has some great ideas. So let's get to the Discord question of the week. This question is considered to be the woo-woo philosophy for the longest time. More and more people are starting to believe and practice the art of manifestation. The basic idea of manipulating our reality to our desired outcomes. Do you think that we can truly will our reality into what we want? Have you ever manifested anything to come about in your own life? Or is manifestation just purely a synchronistic set of events? Good question, Chucky. That's a great question. What do you think, Tex, just off the bat?
I do think it's very possible to manifest things in your life, good and bad.
Sure.
I don't think it's something you want to mess with, and if you don't have the knowledge.
Sure.
It's when you start tinkering with manifesting stuff,
mm-hmm.
that can go south real quick.
Sure.
Real quick.
Sure. And in a lot of esoteric practices and stuff, they talk about, well, like with, Wicca, for instance, and witchcraft talks about shadow work. And shadow work sounds like having a book of shadows, sounds like a pretty evil, dark thing, but actually it's just talking about coming to terms with your own luggage, because you gotta deal with the crap going on in your own head first and start to, cleanse yourself in a manner of speaking. And so shadow work is basically that. It's just basically like, hey, get rid of your old laundry, work through it, find, and document that. So that's a lot of what shadow work is just talks about that. Oh, Carl Jung talks about shadow work too. Very cool, Maggie. Yeah, exactly. So, good night, Deb. Thanks for coming in. It was good to see you for a while. Thank you so much. So that's the question today. And, let's see what people had to say. First up, Chasing Mound Builder says, very good question, Chucky. I can't be sure personally, although my subjective experience is that I have clearly manifested certain things, sometimes subconsciously. However, from a larger perspective, that has some sort of ontological value. That's a big word. I don't even know for sure what that means, Dex. We can look at the placebo effect or the double slit experiment for the data surrounding the mind's effect on material reality. Another related area of study is quantum computing. From my very limited understanding of them, they draw upon other dimensions for extreme computing potential. All of these suggest that there is at least some non-local variable to it all, which is one way in which manifestation could be possible. Fantastic thoughts. I'll have to Google most of that later, but I think that's
right.
Wonderful. I just think that's smart. But anyway, next up comes Sinfully Wicked. Love this question. I've tried the 333 and the 777 manifestations, hoping the act of repetition will embed my intention into my subconscious mind, reinforcing the positive energy associated with my desire. So far, nada in the results departments. And on the other hand, if I smile/hug someone who has had a bad day, I feel I have manifested some peace in their life. What a wonderful thought of the idea of being able to manipulate reality at will, as long as it was positive manipulation. The world could be such a wonderful, happy place. Yeah, that's a beautiful thought, Sinfully Wicked. Yeah, like manifesting wonderful feelings and love for people is probably one of the most profound manifestations you could ever hope to do. So that's a beautiful thought. Thanks for sharing that. All right, up next, Eric the Wandering Purple Hobbit. We're given many God's gifts. Be careful where you venture. Don't get so busy wondering if you could that you don't think if you should. Yeah, that's kind of what you're saying, Tex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, and one thing that I noticed, anytime the word manifestation is put to anything,
mm-hmm.
people automatically, for the most part, associate it with being something dark.
Yeah.
Or, not Christian, that
Sure.
type of thing.
Sure.
But it's like, Sinfully Wicked was saying, you can manifest just positive energy just by opening a door, by sharing a smile or a hug or something like that. That's the same. It's the same thing.
Sure.
It's just when that word manifestation comes out, people are like, oh, it's work of the devil type thing.
Sure.
And
yep.
That's a very closed-minded way of looking at things.
Mm-hmm.
But there is that other side of it, and you do have to be careful what you're tinkering with. What you're letting in.
Yes.
Because that's what you're doing. You're opening yourself up.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yep. Yeah, and I think there's definitely room for cautionary measures in all of this stuff for sure. When you're talking about redirecting your life, I do think that we consciously or subconsciously manifest all the time. It's just and it's not. It can be as simple as, man, Mondays suck. Well, sure enough, your Monday's gonna suck, and it's that kind of manifestation. But it can also be much more profound. Like, I'm in a tough place. I really need some money. I don't know what I'm gonna do, and then boom, suddenly something comes, and it could be divine intervention, but perhaps you're manifesting it as well. Or, maybe part of that manifestation is just a proper prayer. Maybe that's the best way to manifest, just by directing it to the divine mind of God and just saying, I need help. I'm having problems here. I need you to step in and make this better for me, because I don't know what to do. And then sure enough, it happens. Well, prayer is manifestation as well, and I think that's wonderful. And I suppose that's probably the best bet for manifesting in a lot of cases, because, are you sure what you're meddling with? That's got to be a consideration. That you might be directing your energy towards something that's going, yeah, I'll take care of that for you, but you owe me. Which is not the good version. Which is not the good version. Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's not.
All right. I'm sorry. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, what I've noticed is with the whole, and I've tinkered with this, but have you ever tried to manipulate an electronic device by just thinking about it?
Oh,
a certain outcome.
Okay, sure. I mean, I understand that there are people that do like meditate on that to try to affect things like that. Sure.
I've done it enough to where it's quits being a coincidence.
Sure. Yeah.
And so it went, and I'm not. I think it has a lot less to do with whatever I'm able to do versus what are these electronic devices really tapping into? Because we talk about all the time, our phones listening to us, our TV's listening to us, and these ads will pop up or whatever.
Sure.
I've noticed you don't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
All you got to do is think about it.
Right.
And things start popping up and what you were thinking about. And how does that happen?
I know, you almost swear these things read your mind. It's like I'll be thinking about, maybe like a vacation to Florida, and suddenly, and maybe it's because maybe it's always been there, but I didn't notice it because I wasn't thinking in those lines. But then you see it, it's like, my God, what are the odds? But maybe in reality it was always there. The ad for Disney or Cocoa Beach or something. Maybe it was always there, but you just kind of discard it until you're thinking, man, I wish I could go to Florida. And then boom, it just jumps out. Or is it possible that, that is a form of manifestation where, I think in our fundamental state, if you think of, what we truly are, it's not these meat suits. We are energetic beings. And certainly, it's no mystery that it's believed that ghosts and ghostly beings, whatever they might be, can interact with and affect electronics. In fact, that's one of the most common manifestations of their presence is, the weird radio turning on or television lights, static or bad reception, things like that people often attribute to, well, perhaps we're capable of that too in our own way. And maybe by the same virtue, we're capable of making them work better than they were working if they're, on the fritz, just by, an expression of that energy or the expression of that desire. I don't know. Just I'm spitballing this, but it's just some ideas. But yep.
Well, that's how great things start out. That's how discovery starts out, is spitballing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, if these, it's like you said, we're more than just meat sacks.
Yeah.
We're energetic beings, and everything in the world, everything around us, has some kind of energy. And if it's hard for me to believe that we have to wait until we pass on to be able to manipulate certain things. If a spirit that is passed on can manipulate electronic devices, why is it such a far stretch for us to go, okay, well, we can too?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's a great point. And I think it's perhaps part of the whole, creating your own poltergeist thing as it being, perhaps a subconscious expression of yourself anyway, of your own energy. And perhaps issues you're dealing with are manifesting in their own right and creating activity around you. And that is also a form of, I guess, subconscious manifestation. It's like, you can only handle so much pressure when it has to escape. And maybe sometimes it escapes and creates activity around you. And it's just like a release of sorts, I don't know. But that's a great angle too. Good point. All right, let's continue on this. Eric the Wandering Purple Hobbit. We're given many God's gifts. Be careful where you venture. Don't get so busy wondering. Oh, we already did read that one. But great thoughts, Eric. Thank you for that. John T. comes in and says, I believe a positive attitude brings positive outcomes. Fair enough. I agree. I don't believe in coincidences, nor do I. But if you can manifest your will for good things or good tidings to me, there will always be a give and take to playing around with. Usually in the long run turns bad, so why chance it? Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe that's part of what we were talking about with just, I don't know. I don't want to sound condescending at all because you could be absolutely right. Maybe, it's kind of like careful what you wish for kind of thing, or maybe there is some kind of intrinsic price that's required for that. I don't know. I mean, again, just spitballing ideas, but perhaps if the manifestation is being done by something else and therefore it agrees that you're now under an accord of sorts, then yeah, that could be ugly and terrible. But I don't know. I think if you not that bad things don't happen to all of us anyway, no matter how virtuous or good we try to be. The whole scope of life is that, stuff's going to happen. That's just the way it works. So it's probably maybe going to happen anyway, but I don't know. Good thoughts, John. And I'm not discounting what you're saying, but it's a tough one to try to decipher. Not what you said, but just the spirit of it. I don't pretend to know. Again, the portal will never be about telling you should believe one thing or the other. It's just it's just a discussion. And so certainly fair enough if that's your belief, then, I totally respect that. Any thoughts on that one, Tex?
Well, I love what you said. We're not trying to sway you one way or the other. It's just a discussion. And the problem is there's so many people out there that's not willing to have an open discussion,
Yeah.
They want to, some of them take the approach of, I'm not saying it wrong, but I'm going to tell you why I'm right. That we don't take into account to what everybody else, feels about other things around us,
Right. Fair enough. Yep. Good point. All right, let's move down. Inner underbelly comes in next. The art of manifestation is older than time itself. I'm told that God manifested the universe, so there was a big spike in manifestation at least once before. The fact that we can alter the output of random number generators with a bit of thought, and this is predictable, repeatable outcome in a controlled lab setting should be enough for the skeptics to give it some thought. With that being said, every white girl who's been to a bead store Every white girl who's been to a bead store manifesting their will can only end in the implosion of all creation. I don't know what this means. We know this is true intuitively. The release of the popular book, The Secret, was a Jesuit psyop, and that's all I got to say about that. I don't know if that's true. I think the Secret is, there's nothing new about The Secret. The Secret is a lot of ideas and wisdoms throughout all time, just packaged all together and kind of sold as this new idea. A lot of the stuff that's promoted in The Secret is ideas and practices that are as old as time. So I don't think I think it predates Jesuits by quite a while as well. I don't know. I mean, again, if that's what you believe, fantastic. I just don't know. I don't know what the white girl been to a bead store. I don't know what that means. Does that make sense to you?
We went real random real quick on that one.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know either. I'm like, what? Huh? No offense, Underbelly. I'm just trying to understand what that means, and maybe I can't. Let's go to the next one. ZX81V2. No such thing as random. We exist in a logical universe. Try this. Think about something you really need, not want, and try to hold the image in your head for about a minute. And repeat this for a few days, once a day. The more definition you get in your mind, the better. Just a note, I read this years ago. And to a point, I'd sort of say it works. But everyone will have different outcomes. You got nothing to lose by trying it out. It is important to remember, need, not greed. Don't start imagining stacks of cash while I'm out. Dang it. I was just about to do it. No, that's true. If this is a game, you should be able to influence what the game does and how it plays. There have been a few experiments trying to figure it out if this is a real phenomenon or no. And as everything is made of electrons, you should be able to replicate something from nothing if you have the energy to manifest it. Pretty profound. Yeah, I think, of course, visualization is a huge component in manifesting. And again, I believe we manifest all the time. We just don't realize how much of an architect we are in our own lives. We're kind of schooled to believe that we are these pinballs bouncing through life, but I think we're also the bouncers. We're also the bumpers, and we create the bumpers and that bounce us around. I realize that's an oversimplistic idea, but I hope that makes sense to you guys. And
Well,
yeah, go ahead, Tex.
I just want to touch on this real quick.
Sure.
Some could argue that we're we're also talking about the power of prayer.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, I mean, if especially when you start talking about collective consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and if you get a lot of people concentrating on a single thing,
Yeah.
that will manifest something good, even healing for a person,
Yeah.
you know, or it's or good things to happen or whatever. We do that quite a bit.
Yes.
We're always asking, hey, somebody's having a rough patch or whatever, hey, send out some prayers or,
Sure.
um, positive energy, good thoughts, whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
I consider it all the same thing. I really do.
Yeah.
Because and it goes both ways.
Right.
That may be what we're talking about when we start talking about curses,
Sure.
you know,
Absolutely.
because it's all manifestation of some kind.
Yes. Yep. It's an intention for energy to follow a route and to become something or coalesce into something. Yeah. Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. And I think it's maybe largely semantics. Like when you're praying for something, you're asking for a manifestation or working towards a manifestation. When you're if you're a practitioner of some the more occult practices, you are trying to manifest through a mechanism and symbols and ritual. And if there's, even in the old church, in that current church, there's the idea of prayer by rote. And that the idea is that, when you go into a service and you repeat the same things together as a congregation, and it happens most Sundays or whatever in church, that's called prayer by rote. And the idea is that the more people that create these prayers, the more likely it may be to manifest in the world around us. And it's a beautiful idea. I think, in any endeavor to manifest, it has to be something you're passionate about. Jules talked about, she's tried manifesting many times, and she said, but you got to be like stupid specific, especially with like money, because you might get a penny. And you got to remember to be thankful for that penny, even because it manifested. And, I agree. There's a lot of metrics to this. It's an incredibly deep question, Chucky. Nice job, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. All right. Josh Casto is coming up next. Said, good question. I think it may depend on the individual. I'd agree, Josh. Yeah. But multiple, I think I believe it's all about intention on said individuals. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the idea that I always grew up with was energy follows intention. And that can be a good thing or a bad thing. If you've got a screwed up thought process, you're probably manifesting some screwed up things, whether you know it or not. And, everybody knows somebody like that. It's like, God, no matter what they do, they're always negative, but God, they always have the worst luck. And it's like, yeah, but maybe that's the art of creation right there. They believe it so much that it just becomes their reality. And even in a biblical sense, Jesus said, it's done unto you as you believe. And I think that this is my personal opinion, but I think that is a profound, incredibly profound statement. And I think a lot of people just chalk it up to, well, it's a measure of how strong your faith is, how well you follow the word or whatever. But I think it's more than that personally. But anyway, that's my own take.
I agree.
Yeah. Amen, brother. Eyes comes in next, says, I'm going to keep this simple. My self-assigned number is 303, a number based on where I lived growing up. A lot of our numbers having 30 in them. Since I'm from Maryland, moved to Colorado, and my third apartment I get ends up being 303. Oh, that's cool. This is a small example, but I cannot choose. I just think whoever is writing the narrative has a cheeseball dad sense of humor. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That could be. Utah Sam comes in next, says, I have a very old set. What is this talking about? Never play as to something. I finally always have something interesting to say. I have a very old set. I work with them carefully. I cherish them. I never play. I finally always have something interesting to say. I'm not sure where you're going with this, Sam. I don't know how that's. No offense if I'm missing what you're saying, but I don't understand that. Chasing Mound Builders comes in again, says, used to live in 303 myself. I miss it there, and that place in particular has a ton of potential for synchronicity. Ah, fair enough. We still got a bunch of dialogue going on here. I'm going to kind of breeze through these because we need to get through this segment to get to the creatures and cryptids. Annie Manul comes in next, says, will everything around us? No. For that, you have to have control of the full universe or simulation, and that makes you God, a god, or potentially seriously ill. Will part of what happens around you? Yes. If the universe writes itself as a simulation that's dependent upon the observer effect, with time running in more than one direction, because a successful manifestation may be remembering the future, and yes, manifestation on a small scale is feasible. I've manifested something to be very exact degree more than once. The problem is that I always forget an important detail. Now, I leave it to higher beings who might operate in my favor. They have a bigger picture and a larger capacity for thought than just human me does. Fair enough. Yeah, good point, Annie. Yeah, good point. There's the old, I don't know, fantasy lore about the genie appears and you're playing like a role-playing game and you have to make your wish. And a lot of emphasis is put on make sure you think this through all the way from top to bottom, left, right, up and down, or whatever, like in Dungeons and Dragons, because the DM will screw it up somehow. And they'll say, well, you said this and so this. So I imagine that's the truth in manifesting too. It's like maybe you have to be extraordinarily precise in what you're trying to manifest and give it a lot of energy and a lot of thought and a lot of consideration and then there's the old thing, be careful what you wish for, because sometimes you get it.
Well, and that very thing was demonstrated in the movie Leprechaun.
Oh, okay. I never watched that movie, but I've seen, it's Warwick Davis. I mean, I've seen little pieces and clips, but
there's this in one of the movies. I think it's two. I can't remember which one it is. The guy has tricked the leprechaun or whatever.
Okay.
To get his pot of gold, right?
Right.
And he said he wants the pot of gold. He wants the pot of gold. He says, "Are you sure?" It's like one of his three wishes or something.
Okay.
And he says, "Yeah." So he gives it to him, but he materializes it in his stomach cavity.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's horrible.
He says, "There you go. You've got it. Careful what you wish for."
Oh, jeez.
You weren't specific where you wanted it.
Oh no, that's horrible. But yeah, good point. I guess that's a great example, really. Josh Casto comes in with in response to Annie, I guess, says, I get what you're saying, but I'm Christian, and it seems you're looking into the lowercase g gods. I'm probably wrong, but I don't know. Interesting stuff. Well, there's actually a biblical reference of the lower G gods in a few places that I'm familiar with. I'm not the type that can give you it's in this book, this verse, but I know that I've read it. It's, what was it? One case is it not said in the law that ye are gods and the law cannot be broken? I can't remember where it's from. Forgive me. I'm kind of spouting little piecemeal, but yeah, I'm not.
That's a Jason McLean conversation.
Is it? Jason really into? He's got his I's dotted and the T's crossed on all that.
Oh yeah, he is our he's the Island of Misfits Toys theologian.
Oh, nice, yeah. But there is reference in even biblical narrative of, is it not said in the law that ye are gods and the law cannot be broken? So I might be piecemealing a couple quotes together, but still, it's a mention. Josh Casto, I do believe Jesus is the one true God. Well, fair enough. And you know, I appreciate everybody's religious views, and certainly you're welcome to them, but just understand that, you know, this is not everybody has the same worldview, and that's not for us. That's between them and their divine. So, you know, just to put that out there. Rachel 101 says, I think it's a little bit of both. Things have come for me by just being there. Also, events have happened that I desired to happen. The universe always listens. Things happen in small personal moments rather than in large epic ones. Sure. Yeah, usually. SoCal Squatcher comes in next, says, I do believe in manifestation, and I've only recently started to try to practice it from time to time. Usually when things don't seem to be lining up for me. I've always had some success, minor as it may be. I'm a believer. Cheers, Portal fam. You guys rock. Love the show, Brent. Thank you, SoCal. Appreciate that. And Barbara says, I'm with Rachel. There you go. That kind of wraps up the Discord question of the week. Is there any questions? Thank you. I'm here all night. All right, guys. Thank you so much, everybody that took the time to weigh in on this. I do appreciate your involvement, your input, and your ideas. Love reading these. I love talking about them. Thank you all so much for taking the time and being a part of the conversation. And remember, Discord is open to any of you that are interested, so please follow that link, whether it's in the description or if you scroll back up and can find it in the chat. You're all welcome to be a part of it. I should look at the general and see if anybody's joined lately. I haven't looked at this for several days, so I might be pretty far behind. Doesn't look. Oh, yeah, Bogart came in. Hi, Bogart. Good to see you. And Freaky Geek. 2 new entries, and they're from tonight. Welcome, guys. We love having you here. Thanks for coming in and being a part of our Discord. So that'll do it for the Discord question of the week, which means, Tex, I got to look at the clock here, but I think we're running on the fume end of the show. So looks like it's time for
yeah, I think so.
For this. It's time, Tex, for the Cryptid Corner. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
I love that theatrical pause before that. That was nice. Well played, sir. I'm just looking at what's first here. Okay, here we go. We're going to start out the journey. Are we starting here or are we starting here? Let's look at this. Okay. We're going to start out with a couple of excerpts from Sasquatch Chronicles blog. Again, this is Wes Germer's site of Sasquatch Chronicles. If you're familiar with the podcast, obviously you know it's one of the best shows out there by far. And but if you're not familiar with the blog, you're missing a big section of all of the available information that Wes tirelessly puts out there. So please visit the blog. And if you want to be a member, that's where you go to do it for Sasquatch Chronicles. And then you get an extra show as well. So what's not to love? All right, let's go to this. This is the first one up on tonight's Cryptid Corner, ladies and gentlemen. And this is, again, Sasquatch Chronicles blog, December 7th. It is the basis, this email is a basis of an upcoming show. He had kraken set of teeth. He had a kraken set of teeth. A listener writes, hey there, Wes. Hope you're doing well. I've been listening since the start, and I love your show so much. I've been very reluctant to share this with you, but in hopes of sharing these stories with your audience, I'll find some other locals that have experienced some of the same things that I did, so we can connect, and I don't feel so alone anymore. And here we go. This one's it's actually got some images too. So the location of his first part here is Tallowa Dam, south of Moss Vale, New South Wales. My encounter 3 months ago. So it all started when I had left on a Friday afternoon to, excuse me, to go on a camping trip down the coast and come back on the Sunday. The drive was about 2-ish hours to the location that I was going to, which is called Tallowa Dam. I had planned to canoe up the dam and camp in a valley to do some fishing, hiking, and sightseeing. Well, I arrived at the car park at around 4 p.m. and I immediately packed the canoe with my camping gear and started the 3-kilometer row upstream. I don't know if we might have already done this one. I don't know if we did. I was losing sunlight fast because of the mountains casting their shadow under the dam. About 2 kilometers in, I heard this hellish scream or roar. Kind of reminded me of someone bleeding out with blood pooling in the throat, as gory as that sounds. I'd never heard this before, so I shrugged it off as a lyrebird making their strange noises, but it certainly caught me off guard. Well, I finally arrived at the campsite and started on making a fire immediately before setting up my swag, etc. Well, fire was my priority as it was in the middle of August, in the winter, and the sun had basically set. I got the fire going and set up my swag and decided to go for a night fish, as Australian bass, which is my target species, are more active at the night. I hiked probably 500 meters upstream and saw a stick structure. It was like 3 logs that had been placed in kind of a teepee or pyramid shape. I didn't really think much of it until 5 seconds later, and I heard that same hellish scream or roar, which then got me thinking about my mate's story for some reason, and I freaked the F out. And I quickly walked back to my camp and jumped in my swag, holding my knife towards the roof. About 20 minutes go by and without a single sound after getting in the swag, when all of a sudden I can faintly hear bipedal footsteps getting louder as it gets closer to me. Keep in mind, I haven't seen anything besides the stick structure. And I also remember there only being one other car in the car park, and it was the park ranger's car. So, hoping it was the park ranger walking towards my swag, I yelled, "Hey, who's there?" And the walking stopped. 5 seconds go by, and the best way I can describe what happened next is it sounded like a 2-ton elephant ran straight towards me. I'm not a religious man, but when I tell you I prayed to God, please don't kill me like this, I mean it. As soon as the running reached me, it sounded like it took one big huff and then jumped over me, because the running sound stopped for like 5 seconds, and then a big landing sound happened on the other side of my swag. And then I heard it just take off running. Now I stayed in my tent the entire night, and this happened around 7 p.m. I didn't eat dinner, didn't get out to pee, nothing. I eventually fell asleep somehow, probably because of the 3-kilometer row just took all my energy. And I woke up around 7 a.m. on a Sunday. And there's a footprint of the experience, I guess. My main objective now was just getting back to my car, so I packed up camp and started the 3-kilometer row back to the car park. And it was around 10:30 a.m. by the time I got back to my car, and when I went to open it, I realized I lost my keys. I looked everywhere for them in the canoe and camping gear, but I couldn't find them. I thought I put them in the pocket, so I thought that it must have fallen out when I was packing up camp. So as much as I didn't want to go back to the camp spot, I did the 3-kilometer row back again. And once I got there, it was about 12 p.m., I would say. So I quickly looked around the camp and there were nowhere to be seen. So I then backtracked that 500-meter hike I did the night before in hopes of finding them, and lo and behold, they were hung up on a little stick coming out of a tree on the trail, which was super weird. So I think what happened is when I was running back to the campsite after the scream, they fell out of my pocket, and whatever this creature was, that I now know what it was, had picked them off the trail and placed them on that tree, knowing I would have to come back and look for them. And as soon as I picked them up, it started running at me again. I honestly think it was just toying with me and using me as entertainment, because it didn't actually get me, and it definitely could have if it wanted to. So by the time I got back to the canoe and rowed out to open water, it had stopped chasing me. And I did the 3-kilometer row back to the car park with my keys. By the time I got back, it was 6 p.m., which was super strange because I thought it was a quick 3-hour row there and back. But anyway, it felt like time had warped or fastened. I don't know how to explain it. Because this dam was property of government land, they closed the access gates at 5:30 p.m. So I had to camp another night. At least this time it was in front of my car and not out in the bush. The only car that was there besides mine was that same park ranger's car. There was actually a no camp sign in the car park, but my car wasn't big enough to sleep in it with all my camping gear, so I just set up my swag, and it was about 8 p.m. and I was going through all of what happened, and I said out loud, I don't know why I did, maybe because it was just a rhetorical question. Did I even check if my car doors were unlocked before I left to go get the keys? And as soon as I did that, I heard my car door open, and I thought it was getting broken into by someone stalking my swag, so I quickly got up with my knife out of my swag, turned and looked at the car, and saw Harry and the Hendersons looking right back at me. That's the first thing that popped into my head when we made eye contact, was the actor in the suit is standing right in front of me. Then both of our eyes widened kind of, like an oh shh moment, and he ran off into the woods, and I quickly laid back down in my swag. I didn't sleep that night at all, so when morning came around, I was up and out by 7 a.m. because they opened the gate at 6. I also forgot to mention I found a footprint coming out of the water and onto the land. I've probably missed a lot of details, but my fingers and brain are hurting writing all of this. I'm hoping we can call, but I'm not too sure because you're in the States and I'm in Australia. But Wes, I haven't told anyone else my encounter/sighting besides you. I haven't even told my mate yet. Please get back to me if you have any questions, but I'd really like it if we could chat on the phone somehow and we could talk about this because I need to talk about it with someone. I've also included diagrams of where these encounters took place, and I'll also include photos I took at the dam while sightseeing and a photo of the footprint I found at the edge of the dam. So this must be the one footprint they're talking about. It doesn't look like an enormous foot, though. Does it, Tex?
No. In fact, if you look, his foot is actually shifted back, so it's not true scale to his. It looks like it's probably about the same size as his foot.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
So,
that's what I was thinking too. I mean, his heel would be back here somewhere on the image.
So if it was a Sasquatch, it was probably a juvenile.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I guess that's it. I thought there was more pictures, but I guess not. Okay. Well, that's that one. I do apologize to the audience. I know I covered this one before. I didn't know when I pulled it back up tonight that it was the same one, but it's just the way it works sometimes. So I apologize for the redundancy, but it's a good story, huh, Tex? What do you make of the keys?
Yeah, well, I mean, everything that happened, and then you look at the footprint, and you figure out, well, it's more than likely a juvenile or teenager.
Sure.
Makes a lot of sense.
Right.
You know, I don't think it was messing with him when he hung his keys up. Sounds like he was doing him a favor.
Yeah, really. You're right.
You know,
yeah.
Because if they fell out of his pocket when he was running or something like that, and they landed over in the grass, he may have never found them going tracing his steps if they hadn't been hanging in a tree.
Right. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, dude, you drop these when you're running.
Yeah. He just escorting him back and just kind of messing with him from what I can tell.
Right.
I've had them do that to me out in the field.
Have you?
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
come up next to the tent, huff at me, and yeah.
Now I gotta
Alexander.
Still firewood out of my stack. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we got Alexander came through the ghost box. So we got Pool and Alexander so far in the word database spit out. What do you think, Tex? The interesting thing is he said out loud, well, did I even check if the car was locked? And then the door opened. Do you think, and I realize this is wildly speculative, but I got to ask you, this is really kind of your wheelhouse. Do you think maybe they understand our language?
I think they understand it to a point.
Okay.
I think if they're half as intelligent as we give them credit for,
mm-hmm.
they're going to pick up, at least some of it.
Sure.
There's, you talk when you hear the indigenous people talk, about the relationships they had with these creatures, and they had trading relationships with them.
Yeah.
Some of them had good relationships, some of them didn't have bad. They had bad relationships.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
There's a full spectrum of stories. Yep.
well, it's like I always say, if Grandpa Bigfoot got shot in the butt,
Yeah.
he don't like us,
Yep.
and that's the way he's going to raise his family.
Yep.
But I do think they learn stuff from us. I think when we weren't stupid and destroying the planet, as humans,
Yeah.
we probably learned from them also.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
so yeah, they pick up a word here and there. I mean, we've heard them mimic, stuff and our laughter and everything else. So
Right.
I do know that what we've tried in the past, and it seems to work. Whichever um, indigenous people's tribe was in the area back in the day, we'll try to look up a couple of words like friend or whatever
Mm-hmm.
and say those out loud when we're in that area.
Right.
And we've gotten pretty decent responses from it.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. That's neat. That's neat. Maggie who is from Australia says, according to a North Territory park ranger, the elders feed the Yowies up north. Hearsay for now. Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, I'm sure probably the Aboriginals and the Yowies probably have a long-term relationship as well, much like the First Nations in the U.S. And
Yep.
so I think that's cool. Of course, we've all heard the horror stories of when they get habituated and their meal doesn't show up on time, they tend to get real pissy in a hurry.
Can't blame them.
Yeah, they're running short on drive-throughs out there in the outback, for sure.
I get hangry just like the rest of us, I would imagine.
Yeah, their version of hangry is plenty scary though. Yeah, they get plenty scary when they're hangry. Yeah, they can mimic other animals and people. Yeah, in fact, Jason, many tribes refer to them as the ventriloquists of the forest. Like they copy sounds, whether it's animal calls or voices of people and stuff. So yeah, they're kind of like and apparently when they do owl sounds, they sound like about a 300-pound owl. Hoo, hoo.
Yeah.
It's not your hoo, hoo. It's like Lurch from the Addams Family doing an owl sound. Yeah, pretty cool though. Good first article, even though we read it before, we read it again, and this time we could talk with Tex about it, which I like because, I don't pretend to be an expert on Bigfoot. I'm certainly no stranger to it, but Tex has actively researched these for a long time. So I appreciate your feedback, Tex, and your insights.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there are no experts.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
There
Yeah.
aren't.
I wonder if we want to move over to Phantoms and Monsters for one, because this is a video, and what it is again, Phantoms and Monsters is Lon Stricker's site, and this is an amazing site. It's got thousands of encounter stories on there, and if you're looking for really cool Royal 007 cowboys, how are you doing? Good to see you. But Phantoms and Monsters is a great repository for encounter stories. Lon gets many people reporting stuff directly to him, but he also gets referred stories from a lot of other researchers and presences out there in the interwebs. So he's just got this amazing collection of insights and encounter stories that you'd be remiss if you didn't go check out phantomsandmonsters.com. Lon's also involved in research efforts looking into a lot of this stuff firsthand with a whole team of people around the nation, and they've done some really incredible research. So Lon also is a published author. You can find information about his books as well as his own podcast, which is Phantoms and Monsters Radio, and you can also find that on YouTube, so check it out. And let's get to this story. This is from December 14th. I think that's today old, isn't it, Tex? Isn't today the
Yeah,
14th? Yeah,
yeah.
it's
It's
today.
Saturday the 14th because yesterday was Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yep. So here we go. It's a video. Truck driver encounters massive Bigfoot on snow-covered road in Lake County, Oregon. You ever been up here, Tex, to investigate in the Pacific
Never
Northwest?
have. I want to.
Oh, you should come on up, brother. Come on up. We'll definitely connect if you do. But here it is. Let's check out the story. One time during the 1990s, I was driving to Christmas Valley, Lake County, about 70 miles east of Portland, Oregon. And there was a way station for trucks before the exit to the Cascade Locks. And I was talking to a wait master who called me to the station building. I told him where I was going, and he said to get off at the next exit and go south. I was only going 20 miles per hour on packed snow, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw something moving on the side of the road. This Bigfoot stopped right on the road in front of me, and it was very tall, as I was eye to eye in an International Eagle truck 10 feet off the road. It looked right into my truck and took off down the hill. My God, can you just imagine the size? That's amazing. When I finally got to the bottom, there was a truck stop called Wild Bill's. Well, I went in and sat down in the restaurant. The waitress came over and asked me if I saw a ghost. And I said, no, but you wouldn't believe me if I told you. She said, try me. So I told her. She said, everybody driving up there sees it. It was at least 10 feet tall. I was driving a cab over a tractor truck that was very high. I was 8 or 9 feet off the ground, and it was a dead ringer for the creature in Planet of the Apes. And there is a video here, so I don't know what the video is because this looks like a very summer shot, but I guess we can look at it, maybe. Again, I apologize for lag.
Bigfoot encounters in the same valley. Christmas Valley truck.
So this is coming from the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization, Kelly Shaw. I recognize his voice anywhere. Kelly's a great guy. I don't know him personally, but I've been a viewer of his for a long time. He does a good job with the stories, and he does do a lot of visiting of areas where sightings are encountered and checks them out firsthand. So really appreciate that. But this is Kelly Shaw. Definitely check out Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization. It's also a web page. So it's RMSO, I think .com, or it might be .org. But Kelly and his family, or his wife anyway, do a wonderful job. So check it out. Here we go.
Eye to eye with 10-foot tall Sasquatch. William H. writes RMSO. One time during the 90s, I was going to Christmas Valley about 70 miles east of Portland, Oregon. There is a way station for trucks before the exit to the Cascade Locks. I was talking to a waitmaster who called me to the station building. He was bored. I told him where I was going, and he said to get off the next exit and go south on the big hill. I was only going 20 miles per hour on packed snow, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw something moving on the side of the road. This Bigfoot stopped right on the road in front of me. It was very tall, as I was eye to eye in an International Eagle truck. 10 feet off the road, it looked right into my truck and took off down the hill. When I finally got to the bottom, there was a truck stop called Wild Bill's. I went in and sat down in the restaurant. The waitress...
So at least you can see kind of the terrain. This is, I'm sure, Kelly driving along that same roadway or that same patch of road. So you can get an idea of the setting of this encounter and imagine it, I guess, at night. It sounds like it was a nighttime encounter, right? Am I right?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like.
Yeah. So, but this is in the winter here. So I just want to kind of scroll ahead here to what Kelly could
stating, you never know where you will find information on Bigfoot. He was having a conversation with a DMV clerk, and she told him a friend of hers got a picture of Bigfoot near Seaside, Oregon on September 8th of 2014. She emailed him this photo. Todd gives his opinion on the image. Although the photo isn't very clear, I believe it to be genuine.
Okay, very cool. Well, I'm going to put a link to this article in the chats, and you guys can check out that video for yourself. Again, follow RMSO on YouTube as well, or on possibly Rumble. I don't know if Kelly's on Rumble or not, but it looks like there's a lot more information in that video than just that story we read. So I'll put the link in. I just put it in Twitch and YouTube. Now I'm putting it over on Rumble, and there you have it. So, my God, that's a hell of a one. How big are they reported to be down in your neck of the woods, Tex? Do you get them up to 10 feet tall down there generally, or are they more a little shorter? What is the basics there?
Generally, we hear about 7 to 8 footers.
Okay.
I've seen the ones I've personally seen.
Uh-huh.
That range.
Hold on a second. I got a leg
I've
spike.
heard a few.
You've
Okay.
seen what? What did you say after that? We got a leg spike, so it broke up.
The ones I've personally seen
Uh-huh.
running about the 7 to 8 foot range. I've heard stories of 10 footers. But I personally think that most people that are talking about that, when they see a 10 footer, most of them, one, they don't have anything for scale that they're looking at, and they don't realize just how big 10 foot is.
Yeah. Well, there's that. Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I know up here, again, I've talked with like Ken Gerhard, and he says generally 10 would be about the ceiling of what he thinks is possible. But, and of course, generally speaking, unless you have something for scale, it's really hard to measure the difference between 8 and 10 feet when you're sitting at about a 5 to 6 foot range, looking at 8 to 10 feet. That I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at a 9-foot ceiling here, and I'm just thinking, my God, if there was something standing there that was that big and that's enormous, I would, literally be pooping myself, I'm sure. Just the size and scale of that, and putting that in a real context. So I'm sure 8 foot looks like 15 feet when you're in that state, but yeah, fair enough.
Where I got my eyes opened at what 8 foot, 9 foot really was like standing next to it was when I went to Pigeon Forge, and there was a Ripley's Believe It or Not, and they had an animatronic version of Robert Woodlow sitting out in a chair.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he was the tallest man ever.
Yeah.
And he was 8'11".
Yes.
And when you walk up to him, he stands up. And standing next to this,
Giant. Yeah.
yes, I was like, oh no, people aren't seeing anything that's 10 foot. That this ain't, this is not happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do have reports. I mean, now they've given us Bigfoot in the fossil record. I don't care what anybody says. They're just calling it Gigantopithecus, and everybody in the Bigfoot world went, well, that's not Bigfoot. They're not going to come off of that right now. They gave you Bigfoot. They just didn't call it Bigfoot. They gave you a 10-foot tall bipedal, ape-like creature. But that wasn't good enough. But yeah, I think a lot of people are going, well, he was 10 foot tall. That's like, well, this fish was this big.
The fish stories. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get bigger every time you tell them. That's probably true. And it's probably true that just observing something from that state of disbelief and adrenaline flood and all of that, it gets bigger in your mind than probably it is. But but then again, is it just cutting hairs between 8 and 10 feet? Because either way, that's way bigger than you are, and you're in deep trouble if it's pissed. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, and I did the math on this stuff one time on the strength of these things.
Yeah.
And using two things to scale, I used so humans should be able to lift their own body weight. Mm-hmm. Okay. And a gorilla is 7 times stronger than we are. Okay. Your average gorilla is about 5.5 feet tall
Sure.
and about 300 to 400 pounds.
Yeah.
A lot more muscle mass than there is on us. So you're talking about something that if he can lift 7 times his body weight, and that's a regular gorilla, okay?
Yeah.
He weighs, just say he weighs 400 pounds. He can at least move 2,800 pounds
Right.
or 2,400 pounds,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
So you just take the numbers and amp that up to about 8-9 feet.
Jesus. Yeah. Yeah.
You're talking about something that can lift 10,000 pounds.
Yeah. All of a sudden, tree breaks don't seem like a big deal anymore when you're dealing with
No,
that.
they do not.
Yeah. From our, I mean, and the reports of those twistings, like these huge trees are twisted and snapped and, and they're splintered, so it's such an incredible act of force. And yeah, I mean, it's truly a superhuman thing. I mean, that's incredible.
The best tree twist that I've ever personally found was about an 8-inch tree.
Jeez.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't get both hands around it.
Okay.
Okay. And I got pretty big paws. So, but this thing it was a live oak tree and it was still alive. It was still bleeding when we found it. And it had been twisted until it just exploded.
Wow.
And it looked like, when I describe it, it looks like to me those little construction paper lanterns that we used to make back in kindergarten, with the
Yep.
and it twisted and it just exploded into that.
Wow.
And it was just laid over into another tree. And like I said, the leaves on this thing were still green. It was still bleeding sap. This was very, very recent.
Wow.
But there were and we looked for tool marks, vehicle marks, anything we could find. Nothing.
Jeez.
Nothing.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And we thought, well, okay, playing devil's advocate here, maybe it was a dust devil. They can, or an F-0 tornado is what they call it.
Okay.
But the thing about it is, this was down in a river bottom or a floodplain is what it was, and all around this thing was these dead little saplings that were about an inch around, and none of them were touched.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that's a sobering thing.
That's the most profound thing that as far as tree goes. Trees, anything, structures, breaks, anything. That's the best one I've ever seen personally.
Wow, that's so incredible. Yikes. Justin Goodearth in the chat says, a friend and I had one threaten us all night in eastern Oregon until early morning, but he never crossed the river. The Deschutes River is wide and fast where we were, but it could have crossed. Well, thank God it didn't. Yeah, I guess it just wanted you the hell out of there. But a lot of times that's the case, though, right, Tex? Like they'll do a lot of posturing and huffing and throwing tantrums, but
oh yeah,
it takes a lot for them to actually physically engage. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like anything. Well, it's any normal animal or even us. And I think we talked about this the other day over on my side of the fence over yonder, that they're going to avoid injury.
Yeah.
When they can. One, a fight or anything else, they're going to avoid expending the calories that they can't spare, and they don't want to get injured because an injury can turn septic real quick.
Sure. Yeah.
So they're going to bluff their way out of most stuff, and I think that's probably what they do.
Yeah. And it works for him being 8 or 10 feet
Yeah,
tall.
it does.
It's not bad at all. Well, brother, I'm just thrilled that you came on tonight. It's really been a pleasure to have you here, and I've really loved being able to talk to you during the show. Thank you so much for making this work tonight.
Well, I appreciate you having me. It's like I said, anytime that I'm available, throw up the bat signal. I'll be here.
Well, let me know if you ever get, any of the days that I stream, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday off, because, hell, you're welcome anytime, really.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate
Of course,
it.
brother, of course. But I think that's going to about wrap up our journey. Now, is Rob starting his show, or did he start it already, or what time?
Yeah, they just started, and I'm fixing to go jump on over there too. And you're more than welcome to come with me.
Well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll pop in. At least I got a few things to wrap up here on the studio first, but after that, I'll come on and pop on in too. So,
Okay, I'll drop you a link.
all right, brother. Thank you, and thank you all for being here with us. For Mr. Tex Wesson and myself, just remember we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. And I guess the next show will be next Wednesday. Keep watching social media for any postings. If there's any changes in schedule, I'll do my best to let you guys know as soon as I can. It's going to be hell week for me personally, but I'm looking forward to, getting back in here and talking with you guys again. So good night, everybody. That's it. Roll the credits.